How's everybody doing? Fantastic. If you could please make your way to your seats, we are about to get started. Grab that last drink. I think there's some falafel balls over there still. And find a seat because we're about to get this show on the road.
Hey everyone, welcome. I'm Doug Bennett, director here of the New York Tech Alliance, and I just want to welcome you all tonight. Before we get started, I have a few things to share with you. First, know that we record our events and share with everybody unable to attend. Recordings are posted on our YouTube channel. You can subscribe to our channel and view this and past recordings by going to youtube.com/NY Tech Alliance. For anyone joining us for the first time, the Tech Alliance is a nonprofit serving the tech community here. At the core of our mission, we drive diversity, equity, and inclusion to make the New York ecosystem the most diverse and dynamic in the world. We help lower barriers to the information, knowledge, and resources people need to pursue their path in life and increase their level of success. We do this here at Civic Hall, who we merged with a few years ago, and where we now have our meetups and other events. If you've yet to see the entirety of this building, it's 22 floors. Civic Hall occupies floors 2 through 7. It's about 85,000 square feet. There's 3 key things that take place here: education, digital skills training for a wide range of people, including with a focus on helping those from underserved communities, meetings and events on floors 2 and 3, and individual and organizational membership where people can connect, work in a common space to learn from and help one another. To learn more and schedule a tour, go to civichall.org. And for everyone attending this evening, Civic Hall is providing a free 1-month trial membership. If you'd like to take advantage of the offer, scan the QR code on the screen. The QR code is also on placards at the bar and food stations, I do believe. All right, I'd also like to recognize the FedCap group. If you're not aware, both Civic Hall and the New York Tech Alliance are members of the FedCap Group, our parent organization. It's a large nonprofit that originated in 1935 to help disabled vets get jobs. And fast forward, today FedCap is a group of 25 nonprofits operating in the US, Canada, and the UK, and focused on 4 key things: economic well-being, education, health, and workforce development. FedCap, together with the NYCEDC, help make our presence here possible through an incredible private-public partnership. And to learn more about the FedCap Group and the amazing work it does, go to fedcapgroup.org. Thanks to our annual sponsors who help make events like this one possible. Each has a presence on our website. You can learn more about them and how they support our community by going to nytech.org/sponsors. And special thanks to Capgemini, who generously contributed to this evening's after party. If you'd like to learn more about Capgemini, Alex Fleischer, who will be up here shortly, will be available during the after party, or you can go to capgemini.com. Also, a big welcome to RedRob, our newest member and sponsor. RedRob is an AI talent platform for early stage startups that democratizes access to top global talent, traditionally monopolized by big business. RedRob has also generously contributed to this evening's after party. If you'd like to learn more about RedRob and their services, you can see Jay Gardner, Felix Kim, and Bob Newman at their table right on the side over here. Welcome, guys. And how many of you are attending a New York Tech Meetup for the first time? Okay, quite a few of you. So for all you joining us for the first time, typically our meetups are all about the tech and the market opportunities each company is addressing, not about the business or revenue models. However, the format will be slightly different for this one, in that we've partnered with Startup Grind, along with Pegasus Tech Adventures, Capgemini Applied Innovation Exchange, and NYCEDC for this incredible regional startup competition, one of many held across 6 continents. 10 of New York City's top technology startups are competing for the opportunity to advance to the grand finale competition in San Francisco to win a $1 million investment grand prize. And joining me shortly, Joshua Ness of Startup Grind, Alex Fleischer of Capgemini, both who will introduce our esteemed judges and moderate the pitches. Okay, I've got two last items. One, we love and welcome support to help us produce and deliver our programming. 3 ways you can help include attend as many events as you can, become an individual or corporate member or annual sponsor, or simply make a small donation. You can do so by going to nytech.org/support_NYTA. And 2, we're always curious about what's on your mind. Your opinions, thoughts, recommendations, and feedback are all welcome. You can easily do so by scanning the Giotto QR code on this screen. Super easy, there's nothing to download, and you can provide answers in video, voice, or text. And with that, I'd first like to welcome Sean Mastrodimos of Pegasus Ventures, who will help do the next welcome.
Thank you, Doug, and thank you so much, everyone, for being here today for the Startup World Cup New York regional event. This is just one of many regional events that we're going to be holding this year. We're going to have 100 different regionals in over 50 countries, and each regional event will be producing a regional event winner, and they will have the opportunity to compete at the Startup World Cup Grand Finale held in San Francisco this year. Just to give a moment to introduce myself, my name is Sean Mastrodimos. I'm an investor at Pegasus Tech Ventures, and I'm here as the ambassador to the New York regional event. Really appreciate everyone taking the time to be here today and witnessing some of the incredible startups that New York has to offer. Also want to give an enormous thank you to our partners for helping us make this regional a possibility. Startup Grind, Capgemini, New York Tech Alliance, and New York EDC have really done an amazing job making this event a reality. So everyone, please, a round of applause for their hard work. Also want to give a big shout out to our global gold sponsor, which is Natera this year. We've worked with them very closely in the past and really excited to have them on board as our global sponsor. And them being here is really just a testament to their continued dedication to finding innovation around the world. To give a little bit more color on the relationship between Pegasus and the Startup World Cup, we are the original founder and organizer of Startup World Cup. Pegasus Tech Ventures, we're a global venture capital firm based in Silicon Valley. During our last 13 years of tenure, we've accumulated over $2 billion in assets under management and have invested in over 260 companies. Some of our most notable portfolios include companies like DoorDash, SpaceX, Airbnb, SoFi, and many, many others. For the Startup World Cup, as I said originally, this is the world's largest global startup pitch competition. Across all of our different regionals this year, we're expecting over 10,000 startup applications and 50,000 attendees across all of these events. And while the $1 million investment prize is motivation enough for just about any entrepreneur, the opportunity to pitch at the grand finale is really so much more than that. You are showing yourself in front of hundreds of potential investors, corporate partners, even new talent to bring onto your company. So it's really just an incredible event to attend. For the grand finale, it's going to be a 3-day event held from October 2nd to October 4th this year, so really coming around the corner. The first day is going to include some semifinals for all the regionals, the second day being some workshops with some free resources for the startups, and then finally on the last day we're going to have the grand finale and the networking party to close out the year. For this pitch competition today, this is the general format that you can expect. We're looking at 4 minutes for each of the companies to pitch, followed by 2 minutes of Q&A, and then finally, once the judges have tabulated all of their scores, we'll be announcing a winner for today's regional competition. Also want to give a huge thank you to the judges today and their support of entrepreneurs in New York City. So everyone, also a round of applause for the judges. All right, and with that, I want to introduce a very special partner for this year's Startup World Cup, with his Mojalabi Sakumbi. He is the founder of Dell for Startups and the strategic pursuit lead for U.S. small business. So everyone, please welcome.
Hello, everyone. I can always tell they're about to pronounce my name when it kind of like, slurs the tongue a little bit, so I knew that's how I knew it was my time to come up. Okay, I think we have a short video here. Let's see. We're gonna We're currently at Atlanta Tech Park celebrating the Atlanta Innovation Summit. Dell Technologies for Startups is actually a key sponsor for this event. But over the past 5 to 10 years, there's also been like an emergence of like startups and entrepreneurs in this great city. And Dell is glad to be part of it. So this event is all about a celebration of those startups, of those entrepreneurs, of those founders.
To me, this event is important because it re-energizes me. It allows me to come into a space with energy, with vitality, with really smart people, to pick their brains, for them to pick my brain where I can help and I can also learn.
It's always very energizing to be in an environment where we have representatives from throughout the Metro Atlanta innovation ecosystem together. We all talk frequently, we're partnered together, but it's always fun to see one another in person.
Hi everybody, my name is Ariana Edwards and I just won the Crowd Favorite Award at the Dell Startup Pitch Competition.
I'm Kai Tan, CEO and co-founder of RevMatch, and we just won the Dell Pitch Competition in Atlanta, Georgia.
Dell is hosting a cool event for all of the Atlanta startups to come out and pitch their concepts.
So definitely I'd like to thank Dell, especially YJ and Marcus, for putting this event together, giving us the opportunity to pitch ourselves amongst 50 different applicants.
I want to thank Dell for inviting all of the Atlanta startups who are emerging to present our business in front of their amazing team.
So Dell for Startups, right? Whenever someone hears Dell, they think of just like laptops and desktops, right? Dell Technology has been at this for almost 40 years. And about 4 or 5 years ago, leading our US small business acquisitions team, I decided that we needed to be much more intentional of how we work with startups, how we talk to startups, because startups are not your everyday small business owners. And that's why we have Dell for Startups. And the whole purpose behind Dell for Startups is to make sure that we can offer, for founders and entrepreneurs, that dedicated point of contact, touch, service to empower them and aid them on their journey. That's what Dell for Startups is all about. So I only have a couple of minutes because, I know we're here to see the finalists, the amazing entrepreneurs, we want to hear their stories. But, I get a chance to talk to a number of folks later on today, so please feel free to come by. I only have like a few minutes. So what Dell for Startups is all about, in a nutshell, is providing dedicated, tailored advice. We know that oftentimes for startups, founders wear several hats, right? You have a founder doing so many duties, focus on so many things. We want to make sure that whenever there's a need for tech or service, they can come to us, they have somebody to come to, and come to Dell Technologies and talk about it. So that's number one. In the US alone, we have over 500 dedicated tech advisors, for startups in this room that can talk to you about your tech needs at whatever point you're on the journey. Whether you're like an idea stage or whether you're like in that growth stage, we got you. The second thing on here is that providing the resources to you. As I mentioned, we've been at this for like 40 years. Whether in the gaming arena where Dell Technologies owns Alienware, to being able to offer you like an OEM service because we run like the largest OEM business globally. We can always work with you wherever you are in terms of your vertical, whether that's like in fintech or whether you're focused on edtech, we got you. And then the third piece is just providing that community and networking opportunity, right? That's why we decided to partner with Pegasus Ventures to make sure we're part of this conversation, to understand your journey, understand like what are your needs, what are your pain points, to figure out how we can support you on that journey. Now, here's a number of things that we do across the states, and I won't spend too much time on this, in Brazil, in Canada, across the world. Overseeing demo days, pitch competitions, startup events, co-working spaces. If you go to Atlanta, we have a number of hubs and accelerators out there that we actually cover and sponsor their co-working spaces and activities. And then, of course, making sure that we provide perks. We want to make sure that you don't have to burn through your cash because we know it's hard to come by funding. So making sure that we can provide you with savings in terms of your technology needs, whether that's client products or enterprise products, we got you, right? We have the end-to-end solutions, to make sure that, you're empowered in your journey. And of course, making sure that we get you connected to investors, if possible. Oftentimes, people come to me and say, hey, Mobilogy, is Dell for Startups like an investor arm? No, we're not, but we do have a relationship with the Dell Technology Capital, which is not part of our startup program, but an extension of what Dell is all about, and we can also make those introductions if need be. Now, for Dell, oftentimes, this is quite important to us in terms of supporting female founders. Over the last 4 or 5 years, when we talk about female founders, we always talk about how underinvested we are in female founders, how our female founders are not supported. The Dell Women Entrepreneur Network was founded in 2009. So we kind of saw ahead of this about 14 years ago to make sure that female founders were supported, that they got access to mentorship, that they got access to different outlets of funding. Dwayne today is 100,000 plus strong globally, and is a network for every female founder in this room to join. Also guys, but we'll prioritize the female founders, just to be very clear. It's all about the women. So with Dwayne, we have all these resources available. And so if any female founder here tonight has any questions about Dwayne, please, I'll be around till 9:30 to talk to you. Somebody raise your hand, I got you. We can talk later about Dwayne, okay? So again, I only have a few minutes, so sorry, I have to kind of run through this. The last thing I would say is this. I grew up in West Africa. I'm Nigerian. And growing up in Nigeria, whenever I did something wrong as a young child, my formative years, my dad would put me to the side, and he wouldn't chastise me, he wouldn't spank me, he would just kind of give me a proverb, drop a proverb on me. And as a young child, that used to really mess me up, because it kind of got me up befuddled. I had this sort of internal distress. I couldn't understand the proverb. And one thing I want to leave the crowd with before I go today is an African proverb. And it's a proverb we hear about quite often. And it says that, if you want to go fast, you go alone, but if you want to go farther, you go together. The community here is so important. I get a chance on a weekly basis to travel across the states, Brazil, Canada, and meet with startups and founders. I want to encourage our founders to make sure they tap into the community out here. I can't wait to hear about the journeys of all the entrepreneurs later on tonight. And please, like I said again, if you have any questions about the Dell for Startups program, find me, come chat with me later on, and good luck to our finalists tonight. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm double mic'd. So I'm Darius Siegel. I'm a Senior Vice President at the New York City Economic Development Corporation. For those of you that aren't familiar, we're a quasi-governmental agency, and we've been investing in the tech sector in New York for over 15 years. We're really proud that the tech sector is over 355,000 people strong today. It makes up 7% of our economy here in New York, and there are over 25,000 startups that call New York City home, and we want to ensure that that continues to grow and grows more equitably. So I know we're keeping you from hearing the pitches. I swear I'll be really fast, and I try to tailor some of the content to talk about programs that we're running that might be of interest to, I'm assuming, a lot of founders and investors in the room. And so at EDC, we're focused on a number of different industries where we think New York City is competitively advantaged in, that we want to see grow. And so supporting programs across the tech and creative industries, across the life sciences industry, and green economy. And as the rest of the world, we're very excited about AI and believe New York is going to be the global hub for AI today and moving forward. So just quickly on climate, if any of you are climate tech founders, this is something we care deeply about, that we need to work together to meet our climate goals here in New York City. We actually just closed an RFP to create a climate innovation hub that will be opening in the Brooklyn Army Terminal. It was a $100 million RFP to create this new facility that you'll be hearing more about soon. So that will be the place where you will go to find climate tech startups. Additionally, we leverage our real estate assets as New York City to create piloting opportunities. So if any of you have a hardware company that wants to pilot to the city of New York, we're creating those opportunities to test your products on our facilities. So there's a QR code at the end where you can learn more about these programs and sign up for our newsletter to hear about other opportunities. A couple of programs that we run that we're really proud of are really addressing some of the gaps that we see in the tech sector, in that the tech sector does not look and feel like New York City. So we need to make sure we're getting capital into the hands of underrepresented founders. And so we're doing that through our Venture Access Alliance initiative, which is a coalition of over 100 venture capitalists who are located here in New York City, who want to work with us to move the needle and make sure that access to capital is equitable across the city. And then as part of that, we also run our Founder Fellowship program, which supports underrepresented tech founders through an accelerator program with our partners, including New Lab, Visible Hands, Chloe Capital, Company Ventures, and this year we're really excited to add Gold House as our operator applications will be opening for this program in October. So I encourage you to sign up if you're looking for support to get connected with more investors, to grow and scale your company here in New York City, that is a great opportunity. And then lastly, for the investors, we're kind of putting our money where our mouth is. So we launched a fund of funds, what we're supporting for investors that share our impact objectives. It's a $40 million fund that we're distributing over time. And so those impact objectives include diverse entrepreneurship, include New York City focus and community development, and the sectors that I mentioned. So we've made 2 disbursements of funding through this fund so far, and we're looking to roll this out over the next few years. So definitely take a look if you have an early stage fund. And then, of course, we're in this building right now, but really proud that we got Civic Hall open, that you're all here today, and you can take a look at Zero Irving. We're so proud that the building is fully occupied with tech companies and venture firms, creating this ecosystem, continuing to grow here in New York City, and that if any of you are looking for workforce and upskilling opportunities, that Civic Hall is the place to come to learn about skills in the digital economy. So that is my spiel. Sorry, I appreciate you hearing about it. I hope there's some good resources for you. And again, I encourage you to scan the QR code to learn about upcoming things that the city is doing to continue to support the growth of tech in New York City. And with that, I think I'm turning over to Josh. I just want to mention, so grateful to partner with Startup Grind. Josh and I have been friends for over a decade, I imagine, at this point, and just really exciting, you know, that especially the judges who I'm very familiar with, that we've all been working together to make sure that the tech ecosystem continues to thrive in New York City. So thank you.
Thank you, Daria. How's everybody doing? There's 2 people doing okay today. How's everyone else doing? Fabulous. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's, no, we are really close to getting started. And if I'd known everyone was going to bring a QR code, I would have found something else for you. This is literally my only slide. Has anyone been to a Startup Grind event before? Great. Has anyone been to a Startup Grind event in a different country? Ooh, where? Hong Kong. Barcelona, that's a good one. Anybody else? Back? Ooh, Shanghai. That's a good chapter in Shanghai. We're a global organization. We're also based in Silicon Valley with chapters in pretty much any city that you can think of the name of. That local chapter director, like myself, is responsible for helping to support the startup ecosystem, providing resources, access to education, inspiration to help them grow and scale their companies. The way that we typically do that is through events just like this. We have a series of events that we have every single month. If you go to this QR code, you'll have access to sign up, and you can see our monthly pitch events that we do, our monthly happy hours, our monthly coffee meetups, our monthly speaker series. 2 of these judges on the panel have been speakers at Startup Grind, and we're going to see if we can get the other 2 before the year's over. So really excited to be working with all of the partners that you've heard about so far, as well as Capgemini, who you're going to hear about next, to produce this event. We can't say thank you enough to Doug from the New York Tech Alliance and Civic Hall for hosting us here, and we would really love to see you at additional Startup Grind events. Like I said, we keep pretty busy, so we even do a happy hour event is on Friday. Has anyone heard of a startup event happening on Friday? They usually don't. But we have one. It's actually very well attended. It's right downstairs in this building at the Urban Space Food Hall. They have a really cool bar down there, and we usually fill that up with 40 or 50 people just to chit-chat startups on a Friday. So definitely check us out. We exist just to support. Most of our events are free or low cost. And if you have an idea for an event or you want to come chit-chat about startups, then come find me. Cool. Thanks.
Hello, everyone. My name is Alex. I'm from Capgemini. Who knows who Capgemini is? Oh, not 50%. I have hope for 50% of the people in here. That doesn't matter. We're a French-based company based out of Paris. We're a tech consultancy. At the core, we are still system integrators of some sort, but we aim to be more innovation starters nowadays, especially in the US. And as part of this, I am representing today the Applied Innovation Exchange and the Ventures team of Capgemini. I kind of promised to the team to not say it. I say it anyways because I don't have so much time and it makes it very tangible what we do. We're essentially Tinder of Capgemini. We are doing the matchmaking between what we call the innovation ecosystem and our clients. And the innovation ecosystem in 80% of the cases means we are talking a lot to emerging tech startups, venture capital firms, to people like Joshua. By the way, he's paying for the beers on the Friday events. He's not, but really cool event. So we're connecting all the dots of this innovation ecosystem, sometimes even our big partners as well. So we're also working with Google, AWS, and so on, and connect this innovation ecosystem with our clients to make some magic happen and help the startups essentially to land the deal with our Fortune 500 companies that we're working with. That's almost it. If you're an emerging tech startup or if you're part of an emerging tech startup here, talk to me afterwards, connect with me on LinkedIn. Happy to hear what you're doing and see if I can make you part of our global ecosystem. We don't do this only in North America, we do this all over the world. We have over 20 AIEs globally. I'm just one of them, but we're, of course, the biggest one with the North America ecosystem. And that's already it. I put this to the side because I have my little cheat sheet here. Without further ado, I want to introduce you to our esteemed judges that you can see here in the front. And then we will hear the wonderful pitches, hopefully the wonderful pitches of our startups here. So first, we have Cindy Cook. Cindy Cook is a CMO and business leader whose career has focused on leveraging technology to transform consumer experiences in entertainment, education, and healthcare. Cindy is the board chair of New York Angels, a group of angel investors based in New York City that provides seed capital for early stage technology and new media companies. Hello, Cindy. Then we have David S. Rose, right next to her. He's a serial entrepreneur and active angel investor and has been described as New York's archangel by Forbes, patriarch of Silicon Valley by Red Herring, and a world-conquering entrepreneur by Business Week. Wow. Right next to him, we have Minerva Tantoka. She's a recognized industry expert in artificial intelligence. She holds 4 patents in AI, and if I understood you correctly, you are 1 out of 3% of women that holds an AI patent. Is that correct? Yeah. Patents in general, okay. Patents in general, that's even better. She has a track record in financial services, IT, and management consulting, is an award-winning business transformation executive who served as the chief AI officer at NYU and was the first chief technology officer of the city of New York, among other things. Welcome. And last, but certainly not least, we have Alit Sahey. She's a founder and currently serves as the executive director of Baddies in Tech, a non-profit professional development organization dedicated to creating safe spaces for women of color to thrive in tech. Her impact on equity and inclusion in the tech industry has been featured in global publications such as Ebony Magazine, Yahoo News, and Afrotech, and was recently named finalist for the Outstanding Initiative Award at the Black Tech Achievement Awards. Welcome. All right, without further ado, thank you. Without further ado, we want to proceed with our first startup, and I want Josh to come to the stage again to introduce our first startup. Thank you.
We'll take that. Of course. Thank you, Alex. Who's ready to see some pitches? Okay. The judges are, that's good. So here's how it's gonna work. Each startup has 4 minutes to present. That's it, just 4. And so they gotta get through their stuff, they gotta get through their slides, they gotta convey their value proposition in a way that makes it understandable, relatable, makes you want to invest in it. Everyone has money in their pocket, right? Right? Yeah, you're going to put that money to work later. We're going to go over that here in a little bit, so hang on to that. And if you can get somebody else who's leaving to give you their money, then definitely do that. The judges will have anywhere from 2 to 4 minutes to ask follow-up questions, and then we're going to go right on into the next startup. So we're going to hit them back to back, okay? If you have any questions, the startups themselves are located at tables around the room. You're welcome to go talk to them as you're considering whether or not to invest in them later. And you can ask them your questions there. So to get things started, is Colmatek. They are doing some really great work. They're addressing a critical need for rapid and effective bleeding control in trauma and surgery because the current solutions are often limited in performance for wound healing. They're combining advanced homeostatic properties with enhanced wound healing, offering a more efficient approach to managing severe bleeding. A very cool health tech company that we that applied. Really loved what they have going on, and so we're really excited to see their pitch. So give a hand to Svet.
Welcome, everyone. So, my name is Svetlana, and I'm co-CEO and co-founder at Colmatek, where we stop bleeding both from external cuts and organs bleeding and surgeries. Every second, 10 complex operations are performed worldwide that required rapid hemostasis and wound healing. And also, the problem is growing due to increasing population of people with diabetes, hemophilia, and also thinning blood with pregnant women. Me, together with my co-founders, who are scientists from Biochemistry Institute, created, patented, and revolutionary hemostatic agent that stops bleeding. It's called Colmatek. It stops bleeding, even arterial, in just 10 seconds. Hospitals that have tested our technologies and used our competitors came to conclusion that Colmatek can be life-saving, where our competitors cannot. The market is $3 billion and is growing both in surgery, trauma, household, and military medicine markets. Till today, we have created our technology, patented it. We successfully finished preclinical trials and right now working on clinical trials and getting medical certification. We also have manufacturing line done. We are originally from Ukraine, and we identify the US market as the main market, but also in Ukraine, we developed it, and unfortunately, because of war in Ukraine, we improved our technology because of the number of soldiers that needed these technologies. So Ukraine is our home market, where we are going only like to provide our products for Army while focusing on medical certification in US and selling it here. Also, we have free LOIs here in the United States. My co-founders are seasoned health tech experts and also scientists who have developed a lot of different patents and launched several medical products. It's my second health tech startup. I'm more than 10 years in health tech. And recently I'm working here and also advising at Pace University students who have some med tech ideas. We have two main competitor advantages. One is the speed of stop bleeding, and another one, we does not cause blood clots, which can lead to thrombosis, stroke, and other health issues. And this is the biggest problems of all our competitors who are working in stop bleeding and stop bleeding market. Right now, we are focusing on getting medical certification and finalizing our clinical trials, but we already have experience in health tech, and of course we know that negotiations and agreements with design partners and customers can work for long months, so that's why we already started working. And in Ukraine, as I already mentioned, we are going to sell only to the army, and we already have agreements there. And here in the United States, at the first stage, we are going to provide as a plaster for external cuts, and we already have 3 LOIs, and are going to sell through a network of distributors. And in 7 years, we are going to have our plasters at every home, and especially for people with diabetes, hemophilia. It's for home holes used, but we also thinking about organs bleeding, and we are going to get the certification in the next stage. Right now, we need $1 million to finish our certification and to start in commercializing our product. As already mentioned, we already have first customers who are just waiting for the papers. Thank you so much, and I'm glad to answer your questions.
Hi, thank you. So you listed a couple of competitors, and maybe it went too fast, but what is your advantage over your competitors?
Two main advantages. It's the speed of stop bleeding, which can be life-saving. So we can stop even like arterial blood in 10 seconds, and our competitors cannot. They can do it, but it's like need more time. And second one, it's like we does not cause blood clots that can lead to thrombosis and stroke. And this is like very crucial because like the hospitals and like surgeries who tested our, during like clinical trials, tested our technology and used our competitors, like who are here like on the screen, they provided as a conclusion that actually like this is like main advantages that we have now.
Did you say that this is currently being used by the Ukrainian army, or is that's the goal?
This is, so like, we cannot sell because like we are waiting for the certification both in Ukraine and the United States. But in Ukraine, we did our clinical studies and we already tested and we already have like agreement that like LOI. In Ukraine, as soon as like, we are not going like to, we are going to sell like through American like partners. So we already have like free site agreement how we are going like to distribute it to Ukrainian army.
So one quick follow-up. If it doesn't clot the blood, how does it stop the bleeding? What is it actually doing?
This is actually the technology that we created, that hemostatic agent that actually with activation in blood, just like it's like collagen matrix that stop like bleeding, but do not like cause like blood clots. And this is actually the key of the technology that we created.
You mentioned both a B2B and B2C model in the future. What's the current plan for your B2B model selling to armies, to hospitals? What does that look like? I know you also mentioned a pilot with a hospital coming up.
Yeah, sure. So like B2C, it's like for long-term like future. Right now we are focusing on B2C, and we are going to sell like to emergency rooms, like but via this network of distributors. So like at the first stage we are going like to, we already like, we are applying for 510K certification right now. As a plaster, and we are going to provide to emergency rooms like B2B via network of distributors, and this kind of like LOIs we have right now. As a next step, we are going like to increase like selling this like plaster and focusing on like B2B. So like B2B, this is like the K like our model right now in the nearest like 5 years. So like B2C, it's like future mission, how we want, because like we know that this technology can be really like life-saving, and that's why like the mission for the company is like that this product will be available to everyone who need it. So that's why I mentioned about like B2C model. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. That was very interesting. So the next startup is Lyzr tonight. Their innovative AI agent framework empowers businesses to automate tasks, streamline workflows, and personalize customer experiences. Lyzr's customizable agents make interacting with technology more intuitive and efficient than ever before. Please help me welcome Civic.
Hi, my name is Siva, founder of Lyzr. We are an enterprise agent framework, and we help companies and organizations run autonomously with agent-powered intelligence. And that's the mission, and we're just getting started. So what does my work week look like? This is like a couple of days back. This is like every single day for me, right? This is what my work week looks like. And this is what I do on weekends. I sail in the New York City here, down in the harbor. And I want to kind of fit in a few more sailing days before this beautiful summer ends. And what's the solution? AI agents, right? Because we are an agent company, we can think of building AI agents. But what if I say no? What if this is not how AI agents work? Today's AI agents are like 2-year-old toddlers. They can walk, so you don't have to worry about them, but you still have to go and have a keep a check on what they do actually. That's where we are today at this point in time. And many agent framework companies like us, we allow customers, enterprises, businesses, startups build AI agents. On one side, we have all these agent frameworks, and on the other side, we have these vertical SaaS platforms, which are also agents. But what's missing is the data. How does the agent data being managed today. That's the real unlock, and that's why we are building OGI, the Organizational General Intelligence. But before I get into the boring IP part, we'll see the traction. So we are at 3.3 million contracted ARR, $42,000 of average ACV, and about 80 customers. And we started in Jan. Until April, we had about 100K, but April is when we launched our first autonomous agent, the AI SDR agent, which kind of took off for us, and we are on our way to 6 million by end of this year, targeting about 30 million next year. And we have several enterprises and startups building on the platform because we are fully private. Our agents run locally on customers' cloud. We do not take any data from our customers, so that's data privacy by design. And we have enterprises building several agents from SDR, HR generalist, AI recruiter, investor relations agent. These are all various agents that are actually being built or are already in production on our platform. Major validation happened a few weeks back where we ended up winning the Global Accenture Award in the Enterprise Gen AI category. So what's the IP then? It all starts with the agent itself, like a model citizen. We focus on the single agent unit which is fully powered with all the features. And if you're a developer or even a no-code builder, you can build agents on our Agent API Studio. You can just build and launch agents and integrate within your software applications. Several SaaS companies use our framework as their backbone to build agents. And you assemble these agents in a workflow to automate complex workflows. What you see here is the backbone of AI SDR agent. And this is actually the application. You just have to upload a set of CSV files and your company website and you're done. The agent takes care of researching every lead, write to the lead, follow up, and fix up meetings for you. The agent can also call, can text, can WhatsApp, it just will not leave you if you're not a customer actually. But the big unlock happens here, the agent mesh. As an organization, when you build so many agents, we ended up building agent mesh, which is a central nervous system which collects all of the agent memory and helping you unlock OGI, the collective intelligence of all agents. With OGI, you can interact, brainstorm today, but OGI, we're building OGI to also launch agents autonomously. Imagine if you're running short on sales, OGI can automatically bring up an Instagram, I would say marketing agent and run the ads. So that's the thought process we have and we're working towards that. We work with several large cloud platforms, AWS, Google, and IBM. And like I said, our agents run locally on their cloud platform. Our team has wide experience across enterprise and startups. Previously, I was managing a $200 million business for a global SI. And yeah, let's move towards autonomous organizations, have more sailing days. Thank you.
So super interesting. Who else is doing this kind of thing, and how hard would it be for someone else to create such smart agents for the companies?
Yeah, the ease of use is something that we are always focusing on. For example, yesterday I built an email agent that sits on my browser, checks on my Gmail, which is my email account actually, and then answers the emails which I don't want to answer actually. So it kind of does it, and it took about 5 minutes for me to build that. So you can build these smaller task agents in 5 to 10 minutes, but when it comes to complex agents like the sales agent that we built, it took almost 4 days for us to do that. So it is still easier that way. So yeah, but the trick is not launching. The trick is continuously working with the agent. So our agents come with long-term memory and it's trainable. So you continue to give feedback to it and then train them. So the trick is not going live. The trick is how long are you going to be persistent with the agent for 2 months or 3 months until they get it absolutely right. So the wow, there are 2 wows, right? The initial wow happens when they see the demo. The second wow happens when they actually start seeing the results. So that's about a 2-3 month period.
So I understand the concept of managing the intelligence between agents and storing it and maintaining the context and so on and so forth. But what I'm a little unclear at is compared to other things in the space, are you all about building discrete agents that other platforms can use? Or are you a marketplace platform for other platforms, people to come in and pick up buy agents? Or are you your own platform where the agents and marketplace effectively exist within your universe?
Yeah, it's a good question. We think like Tesla, full stack. We are an agent framework where you can build agents from scratch, but the agent mesh is something we've opened up for other frameworks as well. So irrespective of where you build agents, you can push all the data into our agent mesh from where we could give an OGI for you. So we are a full stack platform, but we've opened up our platform to other agents also to push their data in. That's how we go to
Hi. Very intriguing idea, and I'm wondering, to follow up on the question about the relationship of like agents over other agents and governance in general.
Yeah.
In other words, how do you prevent organizational general stupidity?
Possible. Yeah. So that's where the model citizen concept then comes into picture. Take a model citizen, assemble 10 of them, you have a model street. Assemble 10 of them, you have a model county, and then a model state. So if your agent is stupid, your organizational general intelligence is going to be stupid actually, right? So we started focusing on the agent. How do we handle hallucination? How do we handle truthfulness and the groundedness? So that is where we even launched our agent eval platform recently. I'm still not saying it's foolproof, possible. Things could go wrong. We encourage customers to follow all the safe AI practices, and that's the reason why we ended up Accenture Award as well. But again, it's a long, long way to go. We don't have a definitive answer that it'll not be stupid. It can happen, but it's a journey. We just have to be patient because it's a 2-year-old toddler, right? Be patient. Yeah, that's it.
You mentioned that data privacy is by design and is a key unlock for this platform. How are you ensuring that data privacy? Who are you making it private for?
Yeah. What's the best way to handle data? By not handling it. That's exactly what we do. We don't touch any of our customers' data. They all run locally on customers' cloud or on-prem. We recently had one of the largest social media platforms sign up with us, and they're running on on-prem. And we are the only agent framework that can run on-prem as well, with open source LLMs like Llama 3, etc. So we decided that from day one, by design, we'll have all our agents running locally, which is the hardest stuff to do compared to a SaaS platform. But we took that call, and we are the leading player in that market today, which is enterprise software market. Thank you. Thank you for the questions.
All right. That's pretty cool, man. Let's keep the party going. We're going to go from AI to robots. EVBots is bringing charging stations to you wherever you are. You can request a charge for any electric vehicle, from cars to buses to trucks, and they use robots to come out and handle the entire process. So I'm really excited to hear this. So give it up for Varind.
Thank you very much. My name is Varind Gujral. I am CEO and founder of EVBots Inc. We are building mobile robots that will autonomously charge electric cars and trucks for fleets. And why fleets? The fleets are adopting a lot of electric trucks and vans, delivery vans, like Amazon and all, but the problem they are facing that they cannot find charging infrastructure. The drivers that are paid $100,000 to $170,000 a year, they have to go to a charging station and wait for an hour and a half to charge the vehicles. Now that is very expensive for fleets where money matters a lot, bottom line matters a lot. Now if they have to put that charging station on their site, it becomes expensive. Sometimes it takes a year and a half to just get permissions for that. So this is how we are doing. We are building the batteries to the vehicles. This is a representation when a driver comes and parks the truck and goes home by saying to the app, charge my electric vehicle. Our robot picks up the battery, takes that battery to the truck. It could be a truck or a car. It's on customer site. Everything is enclosed, and the battery starts charging, and the robot goes and picks up other batteries. That is how we are solving the problem. Now, the market size is huge. We know that electric vehicles are coming, but we are focusing on $1 billion worth of charging and as a service market, primarily for light-duty trucks. What have we done so far? We have built our prototype. It has been tested. The robot has been tested. It can work autonomously. We are putting the robotic arm and some robotic arm programming, and we have an LOI to test that at Great Dane, which is a manufacturer of light-duty trucks. We will be testing at their site by Q4, and then we have a lot of other customers lined up. I used to work for Penske. I was managing $1 billion worth of fuel for them, and they have a huge network of 17,000 fleet customers that I was catering to. So this is what, as a team, we will be executing this. I have experience in fleets, and then my co-founder, my CTO, he's from Carnegie Robotics with multiple patents and a great team of advisors to guide me. Yes, we have competition, but most of the robots are in development phase and they are working on cars, not trucks. Best part is what stands us apart, that we can do tire pressure management, inflating and deflating tires, as well as we will do the vehicle inspection for fleets. That is a big thing, and that makes us very unique. Charging as a services or business model, and customer will pay any time when the vehicle, a robot picks up a battery and charges it. We are testing the robot in Great Dane site in Q4. Q1, we will be doing the next version of our product, and Q2 next year, our commercial sales starts. We have raised money on SAFE, and we are seeking $1 million investment for our next round. Thank you.
Thank you. So I'm a little unclear. How much time is saved with charging versus the current charging model? I understand that that's the problem that you're saving. And so how is the battery being swapped out? How is it saving the time?
Good question. The timing that is saved is the employee time that is saved. Employees go out and then they have to wait when the charging takes place. In our case, our robot takes the battery there, and that they do it in after hours. So in the night, when the asset is not being utilized, that's the time the batteries are being charged. And the way it is charged is the battery is taken by the robot, brought it there, connected to the vehicle, and then goes and picks up other batteries for other vehicles. So it is not battery swapping, it is charging with the battery, the vehicle, and the savings is the human time. This is a totally autonomous operation.
Okay, so it's basically like a mobile charging station, but as a robot. Now, we know that EV charging infrastructure, especially battery technology, is changing at a very rapid pace. So how are you going to manage the technology as the charging technology changes up to fast charge and any other kind of technology?
Fantastic. We thought about it ahead of time. If you see, our robot and batteries are detached. And we did that purposely because as battery technology improves, as new batteries come, as the cost goes down, as the weight goes down, all we have to do is change that, replace that battery structure. Our robot can still do the same. So that is the reason that our solution is scalable, and it can adapt to new technologies that are coming. We can do and in future, we will do faster charging with lower cost to the customers.
Just one quick follow-up. Where do you charge the robots?
The robots, that's good. The robots and the batteries are at a customer site, and the way it works is all we need is a three-phase connection from the customer at the customer site, and it could be anywhere without any interruption, and the robot will be going back at the docking station and charging themselves.
So in other words, to be clear, this is designed for installation at a customer's location in their parking lot or whatever is where their trucks pull in at night, and when the trucks pull in at night, the mobile robot comes and does the charging on site.
Absolutely, because we want it to be a B2B, and we didn't want our robots running on the road and a control environment. And we see that I was with fleets, so I know that fleets are cost conscious, but at the same time, they want something efficient and we are bringing efficiency to the fleets.
So about in terms of the market size, how many fleets are there that are EV, that are their small truck size that you're aiming at? What is the addressable market you're looking at?
So $1 billion is the total market, but we are looking at, there are 10 million fleets in America. There are 10 million vehicles that will be part of the fleets. And those fleets we are targeting. And they are not there yet.
Are they all EV fleets, I guess is the
They
question.
are transitioning to EV fleets. By 2030, there will be 10 million fleets that will be applicable. That will be our target market. What right now we are addressing is California has passed the law that at least 10% of the delivery vans from these Amazons and all have to be electric. And that process has started, and because of that, the growth is taking place right now. To answer your question, the opportunity is, it will peak up by 2030. It is slowly, gradually developing, and we are getting onto it. And we are getting at the right time, because what happens is that today, nobody wants to invest huge $500,000, $2 million, or $3 million worth of electrical infrastructure when they have only 5 to 10 trucks there at a fleet. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So we had AI agents, we had robots, we had healthcare. Did I miss anything? I think no. Now we are going into gaming and some sort of like community shaping. So the next startup that is up here is the gamehers. It is a global community reshaping the video gaming landscape for women and femme-identifying persons, and their innovative social tech platform empowers female gamers to connect, grow, and excel in their careers. Please help me welcome Rebecca.
Hi, my name is Rebecca Dixon, and I am CEO of the gamehers, a social media tech platform for women in gaming, and I'm thrilled to be here tonight. I come from a family of gamers, sports fans, WNBA and pro esports owners, and I have a lifelong passion for connecting people. Imagine a world where women in gaming are not the exception, but the norm. Let me take you on a journey to the heart of the gaming industry, a $200 billion landscape where women constitute nearly half of global gamers. Did you know that 1.4 billion gamers are women? And women, of course, influence 75% of the global consumer spending. Women, however, also face gender-specific harassment, underrepresentation in professional esports, and a lack of leadership roles within the sector. But what if I told you that there is a silver lining? We are the gamehers, a social media platform for women in gaming, available on Apple, Google, and desktop, globally, uses AI and Web3 technology to engage our users. We are talking about a seismic shift towards inclusivity and empowerment, and an opportunity to access a massive market. The gamer's competitive advantage lies in our brand name identity, strong leadership, and diverse revenue model. But why do we even exist? Playing video games in today's world is a way to play, to tell stories, to learn. Activities that people have been doing for thousands of years. At home, in school, alone, or with friends, gamers can experience things like decision making, an opportunity to practice something in order for mastery, to believe in themselves, to experience consequences in a safe environment. And the gamehers provides opportunities for all of these skills to play, to learn, and to create a pathway to a career in STEM. Our competitive advantage lies in the fact that we have been doing this, building this community for 3 years, and now we are giving the gamehers a place to call home. We focus on 3 pillars of education, opportunity, and entrepreneurship, and our incubation stage, phase 1, is just complete. We have grown 1.3 million gamers in our network by going to all the places where women who game go. Discord, TikTok, Facebook, Twitch, colleges, in real life. We have found them, we have connected them, and now it is time for phase 2, where we convert these connections on impressions to our app, and we've already seen organic growth. We just launched our app, version 2.0, and the numbers are compelling. The Gamers app is in its current version, it's a social network. The community that we have spent the last 3 years building is coming to their new home, and they're engaging, as you can see here. We're kicking off a series of app sprints actually over the next few weeks. And the upside is huge. By 2029, we're projected to have 6 million people in our app, 1 million people in our app with 15% subscriptions. The Gamers Phase 1 was all about community building, as I mentioned, and we monetized the company through partnerships who wanted to reach this community. Brands like Morgan Stanley, Walmart, Charlotte Tilbury, Thunderpick, Logitech. In 2025, we're going to be launching our subscriptions, digital purchases, merchandise, and affiliates. And we are laser focused on the Gamers app revenue with a clear path to profitability and an upside, which leads us to $50 million by 2029. Our leadership includes multiple founders with backgrounds like TikTok, Adidas, Nike, Capitol Records, the US Army, and the NBA. Advisors include the former CEO of Coca-Cola Enterprises, the godfather of angel investing, Techstar Mentors, and the team behind Optic Esports. We've had press coverage in Forbes, South by Southwest, Marie Claire, and CES, and we are expanding currently to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, and Lagos, Nigeria. But we cannot do this alone. We've secured $3.5 million to date from key investors like Riot Games, Dunhill Ventures, and a number of high net worth angel investors. But we're raising $1 million right now in a bridge round to support our go-to-market strategy. We're excited to redefine the gaming industry, and please let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.
Hi, so super interesting. I actually have worked in the gaming business, so I understand what you're saying about it being male-oriented. So how does a social network really work alongside the games? Because you're not in the games, which is where people are very social as well. So how does the fact that they'll come to your network and that you have ways to monetize them then, how does that actually work?
Yeah, and it's funny, and it's hard to explain everything in 4 minutes, but basically, as we built the community over the last few years, we really identified what are the needs, and we found 3 key pillars, which I blew through on one of the slides: education, entrepreneurship, and career development. So it's a social network, and around those 3 pillars, it'll always have a social aspect, but we found that we can provide value in those 3 areas, and some examples are like, we have 150 universities who have already signed on. They're ready for us to have something for them to do. So in the app, we'll have specific areas for all the different types of women gamers, because what does women gamers even, it means content creators, game developers, a whole variety of different things. So to answer your questions, do people still connect in games? Yes, but there's a hole where women gamers, they have been looking for a place to kind of come together, create community. We found over and over that Gen Z, and certainly Gen Alpha right behind them, they're happy to be in game, but and communicate, chat in game, but to kind of create community. We all like communities of like-minded people, and so far the data is pretty compelling.
You mentioned a number of big-name potential sponsors. Are those target sponsors, existing sponsors, pilot sponsors?
The ones that I mentioned are people that we already have worked with. So at the end of the day, while we've been building the community, we've needed to monetize. So we've been B2B. So for example, Morgan Stanley, Walmart, they are super interested in meeting women gamers because they're interested in meeting women, and one great place to meet people these days is in video games.
So have they been paying you for this, or they've been doing?
Yeah.
So what kind of revenues do you have so far?
So far this year, we have $300,000 in revenues, and right now, 100% of our revenues are in that model. Like, it's basically advertising, various sponsorships and events. But we will always have that, because when you have access to as many people as we do, that's a great model, and it gives us more access as well. But 2025 will see a pivot to in-app, sort of like the typical tech revenue.
Hey, thank you. This is really interesting. 20 years ago, Facebook was founded, and we know a lot more than we did 20 years ago with respect to unintended consequences and, unmoderated talk on social networks. And you mentioned at the beginning of your talk, that there's online harassment and things like that. So what thought have you given? How are you verifying users? Are you moderating the chats? What's your approach there?
It's a great question. So we do verify users. We don't have we're inclusive to everybody. So it's the gamehers. It's women focused. But in terms of moderation, I mean, that is the name of the game. We have massive moderation. We also have ambassadors. We have moderators, and then we have ambassadors. And then as we grow, that's something that we'll obviously always have to stay ahead of. But what's interesting is that by nature of the fact that this need was there, the community really does self-moderate a lot too. Now, can that expand as, like you said, Facebook changed over time, but it's something that we're just always staying ahead of.
Thank you so much for this presentation. I love this because Baddies in Tech runs on a very similar model.
Yeah.
And we're pretty much solving the same problem for different groups of people. So one of the things that I wanted to ask you is, have you noticed a need for in-person community with the gamehers? And is that something that you're looking to solve for or bring together? Because it sounds like right now it's more online focused.
Actually, if I had had more time, I would have played a video. We are in the gaming industry and sort of the streaming side of it. We have a big game dev community and streaming. We are most known for an event that was in person this year for the first time, the Gamehers Awards, that had 10 million in reach. Yes, in person is huge. We launched during COVID. We were totally virtual for 18 months. And the minute the world opened, it's one reason we have ambassadors all over the world, because we find that the more people communicate and connect online, the more they also want to connect in person. Thank you so much.
That was pretty cool. I don't play video games, but kind of want to start now. Who here wears glasses or contacts? Oh, yeah, me too. Who has a secret fear that one day your eyes are just going to go and they're never going to come back again? Yeah, me too. Our next presenter has a solution for you so you can rest easier at night. Solid Corp is developing glasses that help people with vision problems and damaged eyes see better. I'm not going to spoil the technology for you because I think you need to hear it for yourself, so give a hand for Neil.
Hey. I have been really, really blessed to have been able to discover something thrilling about your brain. And if you're good people, I'll tell you what it is. The implications of this are so many, and our investors are going to make tons of money on almost every single one of them. But the low-hanging fruit is to correct vision for macular degeneration, which is a gigantic problem around the world. There's already a couple of 100 million people who suffer from it. That's going to double in about 15 or 20 years as the population ages and grows. And basically, if you live long enough, you're going to get it. So when people have this, when they lose their vision, they get depressed, they're much more likely to suffer from dementia, they lose their independence, they lose their productivity, or maybe they never have productivity. We have a way to give them their sight back. And that's because of what we discovered about the brain. So what actually makes it work is that if we send multiple separate in-focus images to disparate areas of the retina, essentially replace your natural lens with a fly's eye lens, the brain has the ability automatically to put those together into a single stereo image, full field with great visual acuity, even though the images go to areas of the retina that have really few photoreceptors and bad capability to see anything on their own. But it works. And it's a gigantic opportunity. There's already a $500 million marketplace in the United States alone for what are called low vision age, which, by the way, do not need FDA approval. These things don't do very much right now. Imagine if it actually worked to give you sight back. And we're going to be able to put that into eyeglasses that are going to be as simple to wear, as lightweight and easy to deal with as the glasses that I am wearing right now. I hate slides with too much text on it, but we got a lot of traction for a company that hasn't brought out a product yet. We've won multiple awards. We've convinced so many physicians and patients, this is the key thing. We've now done a very significant number of trials on patients, and over 95% of the time, we give them radically improved sight. It's amazing. And physicians that we've been dealing with will be happy to vouch for us. We've got a great team now to do this. I'm so glad it's not just the Neil and Rich show anymore. We started out, Rich Muller and I, my founding partner. He's a brilliant physicist at Berkeley, one of the smartest people on earth, and I've worked with a lot of smart people. I began my career in the glory days of Bell Labs, working with Nobel Prize winners when I was just 20 years old. And I've had 3 great exits from companies I co-founded. I've done a lot of great things, but now I have a great team that supplements this and makes me so much better than I am naturally. Al Schubert built VSP as Senior VP and General Manager from almost nothing to 89 million subscribers in the United States, and also a chain of 800 optical stores. We've got ready paths to market. Moti Atiya built Orcam, the leading low vision aid before us, to a $100 million company in the United States. Let's see, Jay Herson's been a CFO for a number of really great med tech companies. Bob Bramson virtually invented the tech licensing deal. So our business model is all about, I'll move to business model later. Let's talk about the competition, these low vision aids that are already out there. They're just basically doing a little bit of software on existing AR and VR devices. They increase contrast, they increase brightness, they do picture-in-picture. These things are worth almost nothing. People typically buy these things and they go into a closet after they've spent something like $5,000 or $6,000 for them. We are the only company, the only technology that can deliver actual full field sight with good acuity to people who now cannot see well enough to read, to watch TV, to interact with their loved ones. So our business model, we're always going to have contract manufactured stuff so that at the high end, we can be testing on patients, we can be interacting with ophthalmologists and retinologists, influencing where our technology goes. But most of the money is going to be about licensing the product. And we've already got 3 LOIs in place. We expect to have many more. We don't have real sales yet. We've got $100,000 in revenue so far this year, but we expect to introduce the product next month at the health conference in Las Vegas. The AARP is paying our way there to demonstrate this, and then we're going to start doing pre-sales and introduce the product at the Consumer Electronics Show in January of next year. Our funding status?
30 seconds, Neil.
Well, there's not much more to say. We're raising money just like everybody else. We've raised over $1 million so far, and we have a lead that we're now negotiating with, and they're in due diligence, and we expect to raise another couple of million over the next couple of months. Questions?
I could start. So I've worn glasses since I was 13, or contacts since I was 13. So you mentioned that there is no FDA approval needed for this. How do you ensure that it's safe and that there aren't side effects? Because you can get a new pair of glasses and you have headaches, etc. So how do you ensure the safety and efficacy of this?
We definitely want the typical ophthalmologist or optometrist that you would go to for your glasses to be the one selling this to you. We don't want to sell it just straight off to consumers, at least not right away. And when we license it, we want the licensee companies to do the same kind of thing. But it is radically safe. This is actually a lot easier on the eye than the glasses that I wear all the time.
Do you see licensing this to the AR, VR folks? I mean, this would clearly be an interesting app for the Apple Vision Pro or something.
Yeah, so they'd have to use our optics, which is more efficient than theirs, and our software. And yeah, they'd be a potential licensee.
I mean, would they have to, in terms of the optics as opposed to doing it all in software, wouldn't this be, I mean, given the fact that they have cameras and high-res individual screens and stuff, wouldn't you be able to license just your software effectively as a plugin for them to do that?
No, it needs the optics. And our optics are simpler, in essence, than theirs. Cheaper to manufacture than theirs. Lighter weight, thinner, better all around. That's what we started out to do. And then when we had made the lens, I started to have a hunch, more and more of a hunch, started to realize, oh, this is possible.
Just talking about the actual glasses, you said they're like the ones you're wearing versus the clunkier sort of low vision things you had shown. Is that right?
I actually have a picture here, which I went past pretty quickly. So at the bottom left corner, that's what the first generation will look like.
And will people wear them all the time?
I think the first generation you'll wear for a couple of hours at a time to read, to watch TV, you know, and then take them off, rest your eyes probably. But eventually people will wear them all the time. Eventually it'll also be AR, because we can aim this light from displays located behind our tiny lenslets on the periphery of normal eyeglasses. So it'll feel just like wearing normal eyeglasses. But the electronics have to be miniaturized enough. It'll take a couple of years.
So do you have to charge them? Do they require electricity? They're, you know.
Just like other smart glasses. So, and the charge should last as long as other smart glasses last, which is not a problem these days. And by the way, we're building this with Qualcomm and the contract manufacturer that they own called Thundercom as our contract manufacturer, as the chip supplier. They supply under white label 90% of all of the AR and VR devices that are out there in the world now. So it's important to ride on that wave, and we don't have to do electronics.
And do you have a target price for a unit?
Yeah, when we first bring them out, we'll be charging what low vision aids charge now, which will be a subscription of probably $150 a month. That's what we've modeled it on. Eventually, you know, these are inherently inexpensive to make. There's no reason it should cost more than, say, buying a Vuzix set right now, which is sub $500.
So before I introduce the next startup, what's happening here? Okay, that's not me. I want to quickly go back to the name. You have to know that organizing an event like that, there's a lot of like pre-qualification going into that so that we go down to the top 10 startups. And we saw this startup and we thought like, why so many Ds? We were like, the name is already pretty solid, pun intended, definitely. But now, since I see the logo, I'm like, oh, do you see that? The fading D vision? You know? I think that's kind of the reason for the triple D thing over there. Anyways, so moving on to the next startup. We stay in healthcare. Rubitection is a company that is dedicated to improving healthcare through the use of skin monitoring systems. Their product helps to measure skin redness, which can be an early sign of skin inflammation. This data can then be provided to healthcare professionals to help them better diagnose and treat skin conditions. Please help me welcome Sana.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Dr. Sana Gaspard. I have my PhD in biomedical engineering, where I studied skin inflammation and developed an optical device to monitor inflammation within the skin, with the vision of tapping into the $36 billion skin monitoring market, where we are initially going to enter the market through chronic wounds, because they're a large and growing healthcare problem where we can improve care for patients like John. So John survived open heart surgery, but he came out of that surgery with the beginning of inflammation on his bottom. It would quickly advance to a severe wound where his skin was gone, leaving his bone exposed and ultimately leading to his passing once it got infected. John is just one of the 2 million Americans who will develop these chronic wounds, known as bed sores, every year, 60,000 of whom will die needlessly, while costing the US healthcare system $26 billion in direct treatment costs. At Rubitection, we're addressing the core root of this problem. unreliable manual detection tests, and the lack of low-cost early detection tools to help manage them. We're addressing that with the Rubitection assessment system. It's an optical device that allows any user to measure inflammation in the skin and develop the data analytics to develop customized patient care plans. Using our system is easy. You first take an image of the skin to identify the areas of redness, and then use our patented device to make a physical measurement of that inflammation. Our custom care software then provides recommended care plan, and as well as enabling remote patient monitoring, allowing patients to have better access to higher quality care, while allowing facilities to have a reduction in advanced expensive wounds, a reduction in Medicare penalties, as well as a reduction in costs through early intervention. Compared to our competition, we're 75 to 90% cheaper. We are more comprehensive and easier to use. This will allow us to dominate a $4.3 billion US market, where hospitals are our initial entry point, where we sell the product using a razor blade business model. With this model, we can generate over $265,000 a year per facility in largely recurring revenue, which hospitals will have to pay out of pocket. The reason why they would do that is because hospitals are paying up to $7 million for wound care per month, and with the implementation of our solution, they can take that cost and translate it into revenue by having the data analytics to provide to Medicare to request payment. To get our solution to market, we're currently focused on prototype development and pilot testing before moving on to product development and initial sales to our clinical collaborators, with the goal of launching on the market with the support of strategic sales and distribution partners. So we've already gotten LOIs from those sales and distribution partners, and we have a current pipeline of clinical collaborators. We've already raised $1 million in initial funding. We use that to build a click-through prototype of our software system, as well as have an initial meeting with the FDA. We've also built a functional prototype you see here of our device and have completed initial human testing with it, initial studies, which show that the system works on all skin tones, opening up our product to the broader global market. The team behind Rubitection includes myself, I'm the CEO and founder, Dr. Hines develops our custom algorithms, and Michael Schilling supports prototype design and fabrication. We've surrounded ourselves with a team of experts ranging from regulatory to medical device operations. As a team, we're dedicated to bringing the solution to market to save lives. We're also excited about building a profitable company and leveraging partnerships to drive sales to over $298 million within 6 to 7 years of launching the product, making us an excellent investment opportunity because the large players in this space innovate through acquisition at 3 to 7x revenue. To achieve this goal, we're currently raising a seed financing of $2 million. We'll use that funding for technology development, as well as FDA engagement and clinical testing. We've already raised most of this goal already, but today we have an exclusive offer to open it up to the broader community of people who want to support us and have the opportunity to reserve their right to invest in Rubitection today by just scanning this QR code. With that, I hope you can join us in doing well while doing good, because no one should have to die from these preventable wounds. And with our solution, we can empower anyone at the bedside, at home, or in the hospital to detect them early, to save lives and reduce costs. Thank you.
So does the prototype, does it require the device, or could this be done in the same way that you do the initial assessment with a camera on a phone?
The camera on the phone, you couldn't get all of the data. So a camera on the phone, you can take a picture of redness, but you don't know what's going on underneath the skin. So with our device, you can actually place this up against the skin and look at incremental changes in inflammation so that you can have earlier intervention.
Thank you. This is such an important issue. I've known people personally who died from this kind of bed sore.
Yeah, me too.
But also, though, I mean, sometimes it's not the detection, it's just really the patients generally are just left alone for too long. It's yes. Neglect.
Yeah.
So how would you address, the adoption of this as part of a change in how the care is done in the first place?
Yeah, so the segment that you're talking about, that's neglect. That's a very small segment. So for example, you may not know this, but all patients who are admitted to a hospital are evaluated for these wounds. It's heavily regulated by the government and there's mandated required reporting by hospitals, nursing homes, that they have to report this to the government, and then they get penalized at the end of the year if they have a high incidence. So in places where you're seeing it's neglect, it's usually from a low workflow or the lack of appropriate care management and protocol. For those places, so for the other places who have mandatory reporting, they're looking for a way to do this because it lowers risks, it allows liability assignment, and it also allows them to reduce costs through accurate documentation, which our device can help with. For the people you're talking about a neglectful, if you're going to neglect somebody, you're going to neglect somebody. There's not much we can do with that. But there are a few people where the neglect comes through because they don't know what to do. And that's where our technology can be used, because through the care management platform, we can provide notifications, care recommendations, and connect them to specialists who can help with early intervention and appropriate care management.
My question is also on adoption, and I guess training as a follow-up to what you just said. So what is the prompt then for using this device? Is this something that's just going to be integrated into the workflow of the nurse, or what is the prompt for testing? So is the patient to vocalize like, hey, I feel XYZ?
Yeah, so what I'm hearing you ask is how is this going to integrate into the current clinical workflow? So what's currently being done right now, when a patient's admitted, they do a global test of that patient to evaluate what's your risk. Are you eating properly? Are you moving? Do you have neurological damage that you can't feel pain or sensation on your skin? And from there, you get a score. If your diagnosis is high risk, they evaluate your skin on a regular basis. If you're in the ICU, it's twice a day because your skin can break down that quickly. If you're in a nursing home, it's every other day. If you're at home, if you're receiving home care, it's once or twice a week when the visiting nurse comes to your home. But that leaves a big gap where there's no monitoring of your skin, so you see a high incidence of wounds there. So what we plan to do is have our device be the standard of care. Think of it as when healthcare moved from checking your temperature by doing this to now they use a thermometer. Right now, the clinical standard test is a manual test like this. And we're going to ask people to change over to our device. Instead of using your finger and using your eyes to do that assessment, we just learned about ocular degeneration. You can't trust the eye at some point. They would use our device instead to make those objective measurements, right? So it's going to be standard of care. So our vision is that it's in every hospital, every nursing home, visiting home nurses have it, and eventually consumers can just go to the home. Because as you know, with the hospital at home movement, care is moving into the home. And so families need access to low-cost technologies that are easy to use, and we want to be that for wound care, not just in the US, but around the world as well, because it's a global healthcare problem. And the biggest people impacted are people of color, because you can't see those early signs of inflammation on our skin tone, independent of race. So that's our vision, to become the new standard of care, like the pulse oximetry and a thermometer. Thank you.
Thank you. That's pretty cool, man. Shifting gears. Who is excited for football? Woo, okay. Usually, this whole side over here, okay. Who's your team? Jets, okay. They're playing like in a little bit. All right, let's hope Aaron Rodgers doesn't break something in the first 5 minutes. Any Cowboys fans in here? Okay, gosh, huh? Any Cowboys fans? Any Eagles fans? God. So we all have some people have a complicated relationship with football, and for a valid reason, right? It's a dangerous game, it's a violent game. Everyone know what the blue tent is? The blue tent is not where you want to be. That means they're evaluating you for a concussion. And it's an imperfect science until now. And so Andrew here is going to come here and talk to you about a really cool, innovative new way that he has developed to test for concussions. And I think you're going to think it's pretty cool. So give it up for Andrew.
I hope you think it's pretty cool. All right, hello everybody. My name is Andrew Kortson-David, CEO of HeadFirst, where we're developing a new way to accurately test for concussions in under 15 minutes. And this is me. As a former university and professional hockey player, I suffered from multiple concussions from big hits and fights. And more often than not, the sideline concussion tests failed to identify them, and this led to additional injuries and long-term symptoms I used to experience every single day. So this led me to a critical question, which is, why did these concussion tests fail so often? And I discovered that 50% of concussions go undetected, which is unacceptable as brain injury is the leading cause of death in sport. Even worse, if a second concussion is sustained before the first one is healed, it carries over a 50% risk of death and chances of permanent disability nearing 100%. And finally, undetected concussions creates a $30 billion burden on the healthcare system in the United States alone. So the problem we're tackling is that athletic therapists cannot accurately detect concussions on the sidelines of the playing field. They rely heavily on subjective measurements and want something black and white in their hands. The solution is simple. We're developing a medical device that accurately detects concussions within 15 minutes of impact. And because of how accurate and rapid our test is, it can be used right on the sidelines of the playing field where concussion identification matters the most. We have validated our value proposition in a lab setting with 100 samples, and we were able to hit the scientifically validated target needed for concussion detection. Our patent-pending technology outperforms our competitors in 5 key categories. The current tests today are either accurate and not used on the sidelines, or they're used on the sidelines and they're inaccurate. And we fill this gap with the first ever sideline objective concussion test. Phase 1 of our go-to-market strategy is to sell to universities along with concussion clinics across North America, where by selling our single-use medical device, we can generate $975 million of annual recurring revenue. Phase 2 consists of expanding to the rest of North America, so professional sports teams, youth sports, and healthcare facilities, where you can generate $2.5 billion. And finally, we want to sell to sports organizations and healthcare facilities across the world, where there's a $30 billion opportunity. We have over 100 industry experts eager to test our device. We have 2 pilots currently underway with leading organizations. We have 500 devices that are on pre-order, and also we have ongoing expressions of interest. And in addition, a global network of over 500 concussion clinics plans to adopt our solution once we gain regulatory approvals. And we've done all of this in just 1 year with around $100,000 in non-dilutive funding. Our team is well equipped for success. I have a strong background in business and athletics, and my co-founder, Shazia Tanvir, has over 15 years experience generating medical and environmental test devices. We're also accompanied by Oliver, which is a nanotech engineer, and also 3 advisors. 2 of the advisors that we have actually played a massive role in the inception and exit of a medical device company and a life science consulting company. So imagine a world where every athlete can chase their dreams without fear, where every concussion is immediately recognized and managed, and where playing the game you love does not cost you your future. This is the world that HeadFirst is building. Thank you.
So how does it work?
How does it work? So it's a lateral flow assay. So the platform that we chose to use is very similar to a COVID-19 test. And we did that for a specific reason, is because on the sidelines, we don't need team doctors doing this. We want the average Joe team athletic trainer that might be a student to be able to collect saliva, mix a buffer solution in it, and run it through our lateral flow assay. And if you have that minimum concentration that is required for concussion detection, the test line will show up positive.
So what are you testing?
A specific biomarker in saliva. So we can't disclose which one. We don't have our full patents in yet, but we have 2 provisionals. One is a protein and one is a microRNA.
So how much does it cost? Is it a kit you buy? Do you buy multiple kits? How does that work?
So it is a kit. So right now, the kit costs around $3.60 to make in our lab. We, to go through regulatory and preclinical, since we're class 2, we'll need to outsource the manufacturing of it because of the quality management and everything along with it. So hopefully we want to decrease that to around $1 to $1.50. But right now it's $3.60, and we aim to sell it at $30. Per kit, yeah, correct.
So that revenue model was pretty compelling, and you said that you would start with universities. How do you plan on making building those partnerships with universities?
Yeah, absolutely. And this is where my network comes into play, because I was a hockey player. I have connections with a lot of different hockey leagues, because I was, they call it a suitcase when you bounce around different teams across North America. That was me. So I have a lot of these connections, and a lot of the people in my network have connections to the higher ups, and what we plan on doing is connecting with them and having the protocol adjusted to include our test alongside the ones that exist today. So we're going to be like a trickle-down effect, where we gain their we become a part of their protocol, and then they will use it as a part of their standard protocol.
Thanks for this. So your patent will be on the identification of those specific biomarkers. Are there other kinds of field-side concussion tests, and how does it compare with what's being done today?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's the method of detection of the biomarkers is what our patents are right now. So the current tests are all subjective. There's the SCAT5, there's King-Devic, there's also things like impact. So there's usually visual tests where they see if you're impaired or not. There's cognitive testing. Once again, it's very subjective. So by providing an objective measurement on the sidelines, we'll be able to, I guess, identify from a chemical standpoint in the body if something has changed. So right now, there's nothing objective that can be used on the sidelines. There is a blood test that actually got FDA approval from Abbott, or it was by Abbott this past March. But once again, you can't, unless you're certified to, you can't draw blood on the sideline, centrifuge it, separate everything and run it through a test. So. Thank you.
So, we're leaving healthcare. We're going into retail and F&B now. Taperk offers a seamless loyalty program solution at an affordable cost. Customers can easily enroll in the program and earn points by tapping their phone. Merchants can also gain access to customer insights to provide a more personalized experience. Please help me welcome Uyen.
Something terrifying happened to me. A store almost linked my phone number to someone else's credit card when I tried to sign up for the loyalty program. Imagine if that happened. Our reward will be mixed up, but more importantly, it will lead to security concerns, creating problems for consumers and merchants. And that's why Taperk was born, a more convenient and effective loyalty program. My name is Uying, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Taperk. Did you know that 43% of merchants are wasting money on loyalty programs that consumers don't use? And this number is much higher for underserved businesses. These inconvenient solutions require consumers to download app, repeatedly provide information, and cause headaches during the process, like my example earlier. And that's where we come in. Taperk offers easy enrollment with no app download or registration. Consumers can easily tap to earn rewards using NFC technology, just like how you would tap to pay. So once consumers tap their phone on the merchant's NFC card, an instant app will pop up allowing you to interact with the loyalty program. Many merchants have low digital literacy and limited access to consumer data. Taperk will give merchants access to detailed consumer insights to help them provide a more personalized experience, leading to increased repeat businesses and higher sales. Our product is affordable at only $39 a month. This model will help create transparency and enhance the experience for the merchants, especially the underserved businesses with limited budget and slim margin. In the long term, our revenue stream will include data monetization and marketing services. Overall, we're differentiated from our competitors in two main ways. First, we offer a seamless product for both consumers and merchants, with easy enrollment, minimal setup, and flexible point-of-sale system integration, which I'll touch on next. And second, our modern technology and minimal setup enable us to offer predictable and most competitive pricing in the market. Our target market has a lot of opportunity. We will first focus on local merchants in F&B, retail, and entertainment, located in New York and New Jersey, because these merchants often lack loyalty program resources, and the markets here allow for rapid expansion. We support merchants with and without point-of-sale system. Currently, we're integrated with Clover POS and have plans to integrate with more POS systems in the future. We have spoken with 100 merchants to understand their pain points and needs regarding loyalty program experience, and 90% of them are interested in trying Taperk out. To turn a soft interest into a full commitment, we'll partner with merchants to create exclusive rewards for our loyalty program. And we believe this strategy will help us onboard additional merchants while increase consumer participation. We'll also create an online community to help connect merchants with consumers, and this will help increase the merchant's exposure while promote partnership across businesses. Here's how you can help. With the prize money, we're looking to ramp up product development, execute the marketing and sales strategies I mentioned earlier, and enhance our internal operations. Our team brings in a variety of skill set. We have experience from building solutions and helping clients adopt to new technology to designing user-friendly products and sales. Understanding loyalty program frustration, our skilled and passionate team is the best team to build the best loyalty program and bring it to market. With Taperk, consumers and merchants will have a more convenient and seamless loyalty program experience. We invite you to join us on this journey to help support your local businesses. Thank you.
Hi, thank you. How are you planning to go to market to reach all the local businesses? I understand you're going to start regionally, but in terms of scalability to reach, because you'll have to do a lot of sales at $39 a month.
Yes, thank you for your question. So right now we're doing, going to the physical stores and selling the products, but we're also looking to partner with different organizations like Chamber of Commerce and different related organizations that we can tap into to help us get the sales leads. Oh, sorry, to add to that too, we'll also do a website where merchants can also find us online and they can sign up through the website. So that will really help us scale easily.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, good job. All right, we have 2 more left, right? And then after that, I got something for us to do, and we're also going to have some more food and drinks that get rolled out. So be sure to stick around and see these last 2. We're going from retail down into the quantum realm. Has anyone ever had a family member or know anyone that's ever had a heart and lung condition that became a problem over time? Me too. So our next presenter is coming up right now, and he's ready to go. Yeah? Give you a hand for Venk. He's going to tell you what NanoWear is doing.
Thanks, Josh. As you asked, how many of us know someone that's had a sick heart before? Should be all of us. Cardiovascular disease, the world's #1 killer. That is the problem we are solving at NanoWear with our Healthcare at Home digital diagnostics platform that is following that progression from high blood pressure to structural heart to coronary artery disease, even diabetes and heart failure. What's missing in that multi-year progression? It's preventative care. We need cardiopulmonary and cardiometabolic assessments recurrently, but they can't happen because they're expensive because they have to be done in person with a medical professional. Using decades-old first-line diagnostic tools we're all familiar with, a stethoscope, a blood pressure cuff, EKGs, lung volume machines, lung monitors, hemodynamics, activity, movement, posture, all clunky old tools that we have solved at NanoWear with our Simple Sense platform, the first healthcare at home digital diagnostics platform that replaces and combines all of these tools time synchronously in a wearable and AI diagnostic platform that you wear for 1 hour at home without the need for a nurse or medical professional present. How do we do this? And your Apple Watch all the way to implantable devices, hundreds of connected care platforms haven't been able to do. We differentiate from the ground floor with our cloth nanotechnology sensors. It's our invention, proprietary and patented. It's the first and only cloth in the world that has been FDA approved for capture and transmission of essential performance biomarkers. It's also getting a really elongated depth of biomarkers, 85 plus. So not only these billions of touch points make our signal to noise super clean, but it's also a very deep well of volume. And I know every company in the world is an AI company now, right? But if you've got super clean data and a lot of it every millisecond in a closed source platform that only you have access to, you can do some very, very cool things with AI and machine learning. And we have done that as evidenced by our 4th FDA approval earlier this year, which is the first in the world AI diagnostic for hypertension and continuous blood pressure at home. Utilizing these biomarkers and this closed source system is just the beginning, but we've proven that in one application already. Market need. I wish we had more digital diagnostic inputs that we have. An American dies every 33 seconds from cardiovascular disease. Over 1 billion people in the world have the silent killer hypertension. And in America alone, these economic costs are $500 billion in direct and indirect costs annually. But most importantly, cardiovascular disease is 3 to 5x more rampant in our low socioeconomic and minority communities of color. That is the health and equity access and equity issue of our time that we have to solve. Preventative care, which is not getting to these patients before they're all the way on their way to the hospital. super happy with our traction so far to date. We're the only game in town that the market's recognized with this cloth nanotechnology. We've had 1,000 patients on just our first year in commercial activity in the last 9 months on our platform. 4 FDA approvals, 13 patents awarded with 12 pending. We've scaled our manufacturing from the lab. A lot of great companies can build something in the lab and have struggles building into large-scale manufacturing. We've done that already. We're one of 7 health tech companies that Google invited to their equity-free AI infrastructure development program. We've built the nuts and bolts of our platform. We've had a first enterprise partnership in B2B sales that we've announced earlier this year. Second, hope to announce this fall, and we love to point to our 15+ peer-reviewed publications in tier 1 journals. Our competition is pretty widespread, but they're limited in scope, accuracy, and biomarkers. Our IP and our back-end infrastructure software is so unique, we actually sell that as a separate revenue line item on a recurring revenue basis, in addition to our data services, which are elastically priced, anywhere from $3,000 to $7,000 per patient per year. And we just have more real-world evidence than all of these platforms in an easy-to-use environment, top to the right, as you guys can see, non-invasive, more accurate, and more easy to use for the physicians. Business model's already underway. It's 3-phase. We're B2B. We sell into contract research organizations today in a $55 billion TAM for patients and organizations to understand the safety and efficacy of their products. Then we'll sell into the health systems once we get our own reimbursement codes after several years. And then likely through a strategic partnership, sell globally, hopefully into the villages in Africa, India, South America, that will never see a cardiologist like you or I do every year. And couldn't have gotten here without the best team in the world. Super diverse, not only in our background and experience, but really where we've come from. We're all terminal degrees, except for our chief software officer who went straight from high school to the pros, just like LeBron and Kobe. And really just from the right places, and we're super capital efficient. We've only done this on $20 million. Our peers have raised over 100 to 150 with a fraction of our technology, and we are the majority owners of our company. So thank you, Startup Grind. Thank you, Pegasus. Thank you, Startup World Cup. And lastly, thank you to our judges and our fellow presenting companies. Hope to represent New York City.
Okay, well, now my blood pressure's up. So, no, I think this is a very compelling. I think, you know, as far as your competitors, I think you're right about that. But how are you handling some of the, you know, the AI hype around what you're saying? Because you're right. You know, I think everybody's talking about AI. How are you handling, you know, data privacy, HIPAA, and all of that as part of your strategy?
Yeah, great question, Minerva. I mean, for better or for worse, it's not up to us. This is up to our regulated bodies in the industry we chose to be in. We chose to be a healthcare company. You can't skirt these, right? SOC 2 compliance, HIPAA, all the cyber cues that we would need. They're kind of laid out for us, but we also do two-form auth with the patients themselves. Healthcare is an interesting industry with regards to data and data privacy. We give away our data in almost every other industry, but it's very, very sensitive in healthcare. So it's something that we stay on top of and hired a lot of security experts in enterprise software to address this. But to answer your question specifically around the AI piece, Minerva, this is actually in partnership with our regulating bodies. So we consider FDA not an adversary. We consider them our partner. When we did our first AI diagnostic, we were creating standards with them, which we think are going to be applicable to the rest of the industry, making sure that we're mirroring the US Census with at minimum 15% Black Americans, minimum 19% Hispanic Americans, minimum 50% male, female, age ranges from 18 to 80 years old, rural communities, mountainous communities, sea level communities, urban communities. I think that should be a standard for everybody doing AI.
You mentioned, so this is a diagnostic solution. And then you mentioned that down the line you want to sell into the villages in Africa and Asia, et cetera. And I think that's wonderful, given I'm Ghanaian. But you mentioned that, you know, these villages don't have the resources in terms of cardiologists and doctors and things like that. So what do you do with the data after you collect it in those instances, or even in general now? What's the patient to do?
Great question. Two of my teammates are in the back, and they're demoing the product right now, so please go visit them afterwards if you'd like to see a live demo. But great question, Ali. Everything is transmitted through the mobile app, so if you think about village communities, yeah, they might be 600, 800 miles away from a cardiologist, but they've all got a smartphone now, and they're posting TikTok videos, right? So we can get to them. And the most important thing that we've seen when we get to that stage, we're gonna have to do it with a global company. We're not naive enough to think that we're gonna get there everywhere in the world, whether that's NGOs or for-profits. But if you think about a lot of these companies that are countries that may not have the cultural similarities that we have, a lot of these teenagers or women, they're not gonna derobe in front of a cardiologist to begin with, right? So if you can have a self-administered wearable that a family member can put on, they're gonna be more inclined to actually be compliant in there. And when we talked about a user experience and usability in those potential market cases, that seems to be one of the biggest drivers that would help in villages. And so the cardiologist could be sitting here in New York looking at hundreds of patients in West or East Africa or the southern tip of South America.
Do you just want to talk a little bit more about how you're going into market, your first phase of the enterprise before you get to the, the
Yeah,
consumer
great question, Cindy. And for all the healthcare companies that are out there, you knock down 7 things in healthcare, and then there's, payment and reimbursement becomes a whole new bear that you have to attack. So our solution is continuous in combining so many tools that we can't fit under existing CPT or remote monitoring codes that were created 40 years ago in the Johnson administration. So we have to get our own reimbursement codes for Medicare and Medicaid. That's kind of the holy grail of getting to that $500 billion market. So if you may remember, we're starting in a contract research organization market. It's a B2B sales where $55 billion of companies from like Pfizer, Medtronic, Eli Lilly, they are doing phase 2, phase 3, and phase 4 studies on their own products. Guess what? They want real-world evidence from those patients while they're at home because they can't keep paying for these patients to go in on a 5-year study once a month just to get their cardiopulmonary assessment check. We can save them somewhere from $300,000 to $400,000 per patient. And when they're doing a 1,000, 10,000 patient study, that becomes a very, very big ROI for them. So we start there where they're paying for us. We give our hardware away for free. We can charge an annual data services license every year, and we just started that with our first customer. Last thing I'll mention on that is, and for everybody who's in healthcare, healthcare inertia works against you until it starts to work for you. Nobody wants to be first, right? So if you can knock down that first B2B or second B2B customer, everybody kind of looks at it and being like, okay, somebody else has gone through this, I can use this now. We're at that phase now. We're expecting a very, very nice domino effect. 600,000 in our last fiscal year, scaling to 3 million this year. We expect to get that to 12 in the following year.
So 3 million revenue.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much.
All right. Last but certainly not least, we go into photography. PhotoSesh is an online platform that connects you with talented photographers for any occasion. Whether you are planning a wedding, a birthday party, or a corporate event, PhotoSesh makes it easy to find the perfect photographer to capture your memories. Please help me welcome Christopher.
And this is this, all right. Thank you very much. The last one to pitch here. I'll try my best to connect with you here. I did promise I'd keep it under 4 minutes. I have a 10-second pitch. I have a 2-hour pitch. I can keep it under 4 minutes while also sharing my story. Going a little off script here. I actually wasn't even supposed to be here today. We're in the top 11 startups in New York City, not top 10, but something fell through the cracks and we got the call just a few hours ago, so take it easy on my pitch. Just whipped it up a few hours ago, and here it is today. All right. The Cinderella story, the underdog. We always were the underdog, and that's how I started my career. I want to talk about PhotoSesh. We are America's easiest and fastest way to book a photographer. I'm really proud of that. It did start B2C. It pivoted to B2B. And just for being on this stage through a stroke of luck, our opportunity in B2B came through a stroke of luck. And if you don't have a little bit of luck, I should say, if you're not working hard, you don't really benefit from that little luck that can come knocking on your door. So I started on Wall Street. People thought I was crazy to pivot into a photography startup, but we just found a pain point. We couldn't book photographers through a simple platform that just didn't exist. So we were stubborn enough to go out and fix it. And we created it for our charity, Care Packs for Homeless. My associate Shoham here was part of that from day one. And it was an amazing, amazing event that we had, and we just needed a photographer. We couldn't figure it out. So we figured it out ourselves. We built a platform. Fast forward, 3,000 photographers later across the country, we had this app. Everyone was using it. Not everyone, but people were using it on a B2C level. I hated the metrics. I'm a numbers guy. I hated the metrics. The customer acquisition cost was garbage, and I stopped any of my personal spend until business came our way. Facebook. They came to our door. They said they were using our platform, and they wanted to use it at scale. Like literally millions of business pages that need to be ad partners for them. They wanted to pay for their photography, unlocking them as ad partners, and they thought that was a bottleneck. High five moments, we're on this rocket ship, it's 2019, we're gonna start with barbershops and salons, 6 months of due diligence. The first business to shut down was barbershops and salons in March 2020. Very humbling moment, but fast forward to our grind through 0 revenue days in 2020, 2021, and we knew what we had. It was a B2B platform, and that's why we were sticking with it. I give you our new vertical, PhotoSesh for Google Business Profiles. A little bit of more luck that came our way. Google made this announcement. They came out and said, if you put photos directly in your Google Business Profiles, you'll get 35% more traction. Sounds obvious to us. But to these marketing firms, they have something to sink their teeth in, something to sell to their clients. And it's coming from the horse's mouth, so let's get to it. The problem, ranking high on a multi-location level is not easy to solve for local. We have over 10,000 photographers, 9,000 in North America, and we just started expanding into Europe. So over 10,000 photographers, we have that scalable approach through our platform that we've built into an enterprise platform where there's super admins, sub-admins, regional managers can overlook local managers, and we have all the nooks and crannies there. We're using AI to basically, review photos using our own proprietary methods to score photos specifically for local search, making sure they're relevant to users. And if you are pumping photos regularly into your Google Business Profiles, you will rank higher. You will get more business. Market potential, 200 million listings. I can't wait to tell you about our 3 million locations that we have under management, so I'm gonna skip forward to that. We signed these guys within 6 weeks of each other. As soon as Google made that announcement and we came out of beta, the first quarter of last year was just a watershed quarter for us. They came racing to us for a solution. They want to resell our services to all their multi-location brand clients. And we actually have endless order flow right now, which means it's like the perfect time to raise capital. So we turn on our fundraising caps. We realized what we had here. We already started servicing some campaigns. 24 Hour Fitness, awesome client. We have Ace Hardware, Avis Budget. These are all their customers that already pay them for ratings and reviews. Photos are the next frontier, and there's nothing else for them to sell. We have not just LOIs, we have minimum purchase commitments, we have forecasts of about 10% opt-in rates, and I think that kind of gives you the visual of where we're at. Our team is dedicated, don't have to really talk about that. We survived COVID, grinding through. Our competition is just booking a photographer one-on-one or go to us. It's the traditional approach versus a marketplace approach. And our partnership with A16Z has really kind of put us on the map in the tech field. We are the official on-demand photographer for Tech Week series in New York and San Francisco and LA, and it's really opened up some doors. So if you want to continue the conversation, you have an interest in joining our journey, my email is chris@photosesh.com, and we could talk about our raise. We could talk about more of our profit margin, 34%, and right now we're raising about $4 million, about a $25 million cap. On a convertible note, we were about 25% committed, and then prior to this, we did raise a pre-seed round of $1 million at a $6 million post-money valuation. But I think that's really it. So thank you. They kind of squeezed in there. Thanks for your flexibility, guys. Appreciate the show you put on here. It was wonderful.
So how did, terrific job, being very resourceful at the last minute for sure. How do you see yourself expanding beyond Google?
Wonderful, wonderful question, because we started out with 20 categories. So we did have a wide net that we cast until we found product market fit. I was going after realtors, certain, event planners, and then we just realized the real yield was B2B multi-location brands, and then even beyond that, it was the firms that literally manage these multi-location brands. Uberall is the biggest one, a great partner of ours. And they have 1.5 million locations under management. So that was an amazing opportunity. Collectively, they all have 3 million locations under management, but photos are endless. We need to, so if I take any investor capital, it is gonna be very strict where I have 0 distractions. This is a real vertical. We're gonna give 10% of 3 million locations, $45 million in annual recurring revenue. I wanna focus on that vertical. After that, positive free cash flow. We'll take some risks in other verticals. We'll expand, but photos touch everything. We do events for the Tech Week series. I'm sure many of you have been here in the New York Tech Week series. Our photographers are most likely there, and every category has our potential. That's why I chose to take this venture risk. Wall Street was my cash flow risk. This was my venture risk.
So what do you currently have in the way of revenue currently today?
Just from the pilots alone, 400K. And that's just from literally the few pilots that they had with small minimum purchase commitments. Each of these partners put about 500 shoot commitment as a pilot at about $150 per location. Just right now, they're starting to 5X. Rio SEO is one of them. They just 5X their minimum purchase commitment. Uberall gave us an LOI for 20% conversions of 900,000 locations. So it's just really, I have to staff up to service order flow, and we will unlock that next month.
And of the 10,000 photographers on the platform you have, how many of them have actually booked a shoot through you?
Oh, that's a great question, because that's the marketplace model, right? The chicken or the egg. We had to build the supply side first, had to keep them engaged, had to say, hey, we'll get you some jobs, but we'll train you, we'll keep you guys informed, and give you some continuing education courses. So right now, I would say about maybe 20% are pretty active. After that, they're just sitting there on standby waiting for us. When US Cellular prides themselves on coverage in very rural areas, and then they come to us for a photo solution across 400 stores, those photographers get the ping on our scalable platform, and they say, oh, PhotoSesh works. And we might pick up a new photographer that's been stagnant on our platform for a while, but we had the supply side. That's our moat. That's our competitive advantage. It's going to take years to build that type of registered army of photographers, but now we can feed them finally, and that's why I need to raise capital.
Thank you. This is great. What is the demand for photos versus video?
Oh, they go hand in hand. We pushed ourselves as photos, so that's the first foot that comes in the door, but that's the second question that comes in the door. It's really like, we have no choice but to adapt to that. We created that category. Majority of photographers should have some video talent behind their lens as well. So it is not a big percentage right now because of the way we've shifted. 99.9% of our revenue comes from Google Business Profiles, but it's the right move. I have to find the path of least resistance to make sure that the resources we put in can bring a return to my shareholders and really make an impact. So we're going to laser focus on this, but video is right there. And for listings, you start making even a carousel of photos, you rank higher. So you're on the money with that one.
So my initial thought when you started talking was leakage, especially about the B2C model. And I think if I'm understanding it correctly, that's still a problem with the B2B model. So like, how are you solving for leakage? Like if I book a photographer on your platform and then I'm like, oh, this person is great, and then I just don't want to go through your platform anymore to...
Well, it's worse on B2C. B2B is easy for us because we have a whole network of photographers. So like if you're Jersey Mike's, you're coming to me for 2,500 locations, you don't want 2,500 different invoicing people to deal with in one-on-one. We're the one-stop shop. That's why we went this way. And leakage is real though. So in our contracts, our master service agreements, we do have conversion fees if you go around our platform, which are just insane numbers. They might as well just acquire us if they want to take some of the photographers that we've dealt with. So we're protected legally on that. But B2C, that just happens even on Uber. You know, once you have a good driver that you connect with, you get a cell phone number with him. Airbnb, I was just at an Airbnb just recently. Now I'm in touch with the landlords. You know, it's weird how that works. There's always going to be leakage when relationships are being made, and that's just the nature of any business, really.
Great, thank you.
Great questions. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you all. Glad to be here.
Woo! We made it. So, thank you very much. A big round of applause for 10 startups today, please. All right, I'm not going to talk a lot. I just want to inform you, food is ready, drinks are ready. I will take the judges now to an undisclosed location, to upstairs, 3rd floor, to make their final decision in the next about 30 minutes. And I hand it over to Joshua to explain to you what happens next with you that are staying here.
Thank you, Alex. Judges, good luck. I don't know how you're going to pick one. But you have a task in front of you. Okay, who has a pocket full of fun money? Okay, who's wondering what the heck you're doing with it? Yeah, so we're gonna put a clock up here on the timer. As you're getting your food, as you're getting something to drink, these founders are gonna start working the room, right? They're gonna start coming to talk to you, and they're gonna take your investment dollars. So this is a fun little game I got from our startup grind director in Chicago who's pulled it off and really likes it. So you get the chance to be the investor here tonight. So as you're getting your bite to eat, as you're getting your drink, these founders are gonna come talk to you, where you can go talk to them. You can invest as much as $500 into any single company, or you can spread the love and give 100 to each of them. So go spend that money, invest in some companies. When it's all said and done, we're gonna get them up here and we're gonna count out and we're gonna declare a winner. That's the Audience Choice Award. So good luck. Hey everyone, we are ready to see some winners. If I could get the founders up here, all 10, and bring your investment dollars, we're gonna see who has the most. Come on up. Let's go. Man, you got a stack of cash, don't you? Oh my gosh. No, you didn't. What's he got? Okay. That's not bad. I mean, if somebody gave me $500, I'd be okay with that. All right, founders, let's go. All right. So this was a cool idea. What did we think of this idea? Was it kind of interesting? You had your own little. Okay, we got a couple. Kind of makes it gets the crowd involved, gets the audience involved, gives you a chance to declare your own winner. Where are my founders at? Let's go. Okay. So let's kind of go down the who has like a giant stack of cash that might actually just dwarf everyone else. Oh my God. Frank, let's go. Well, I mean, you got quite a bit. Man, oh my gosh. Well, you don't have to cut the whole thing. Come on up here. Let's go. If you have it, yeah. If you have a, I mean, you like fold it up like you're going to put it in your wallet. Yeah, we can kind of, so who has a big fat wad? Sana does, Spit does. Oh, I don't know. I think Spit might have more than you. Good. Yeah. And Sana's got a pretty fat one. Who else would have got? Oh, that's, well, no, that's thick. No. That's good. You might, let's go stand over there. Oh, man. All right, go stand over there. You got the big. Is his bigger than? I don't think you're gonna make it. Sorry. Come on over here and let's compare. We'll make this like the honesty policy. All right, who's between us here? Who's got the? Yeah. I mean, that's pretty. I think Sana wins there. Yeah, I think she does.
Since I'm not going to win, can I give mine to somebody else?
Reinvest. I think Sana has more. Yeah. I mean, do you want to compare your the girth of your haul?
I think she's got it.
Get your minds out of the gutter. All right, I think Sana is the winner. Yeah. She's making it rain. That's funny. There we go. Yep. In the next slide. Yep. Woohoo! No, back. All right, so Sana, you have won the Pitch Perfect Dollar Dash Award. That means that you get this wonderful hat. Show me the money. And based on your celebration, I think you have earned it. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. All right. All right, founders, you're welcome to have a seat here up front. And the judges are going to come up and tell you what they've decided.
Okay. This was a tough call because this is New York City, and these were some amazing companies. And they were all across both the stage of the company and the industry they were in. And it was virtually impossible for us to rank everybody individually. And so, since we thought there were so many interesting companies, we had a little conclave of the judges. And we decided that just as you just saw there was an Audience Choice Award with the cash to Sana, we decided that there was going to be a Judge's Choice Award, and not just a Judge's Choice Award, but 4 Judge's Choice Awards, because there are 4 judges. And interestingly, however, it isn't each of us picking one. We all had remarkably similar picks here. So we actually went through and gave our reactions to all companies, and with very few exceptions, we were all in the same exact boat, and we all come from very different backgrounds, right? So what we are going to do is we are going to give you our 4 Judges' Choice Awards, and then we're going to tell you who the grand prize winner is. And so, therefore, for the first Judges' Choice Award, if we can have the slide up, Allie, please tell us who the first Judges' Choice Award is. Where's our slide?
I got the clicker. That's not the right thing to click.
Yay, okay, great. So the first Judge's Choice Award, Allie.
Okay, drum roll is...
Click.
Rubitection is our
surprise,
first Judge's
surprise.
Choice. So
There
we
you go.
really
Yay,
loved...
Okay.
Yes.
So clearly the audience and the judges are in sync over here.
Absolutely. And we really loved Rubitection because obviously you're a woman of color, a Black woman founder, so I love that. But also you have the expertise to get this done, and you know you're solving a life or death problem. 60,000 people being killed every year by this, and we really love the analogy of your device kind of becoming ubiquitous to detection, the same way that a thermometer is what we use to detect temperature. And so I can see that vision. We all can see that vision, and we really hope that you get there. So thank you so much for what you're doing.
Yay! Okay, for the second Judge's Choice Award, Minerva.
So again, this was in the very top, on all of our scores. Colmatek, in particular, what we liked about it was, the innovation of the technology that does not cause blood clots. The idea that you were solving a true real-world problem, sadly enough. These are kinds of issues, both internal and external bleeding are extremely important. And we were just struck by the absolute innovative approach, as well as the longer term, B2C accessibility of this technology as well. So we thought the business plan was extremely good. And so our second Judge's Choice Award goes to Colmatek.
Yay!
Okay, so our third Judge's Choice Award goes to Solid 3Ds. And Neil, just want to say that, we all really appreciated what a huge problem you are solving. And it was a pretty wow kind of thing, how you're solving it in terms of really, if you can really address macular degeneration. So obviously, it's a lot of work to be done still, but we really sort of applauded where you're going with it, and I look forward to seeing it in the market.
And the final Judge's Choice Award goes to Lyzr. Interestingly, the only agent AI company in presenting today. Usually at a lot of these things we see all AI companies, so we seem to be dominated by medtech today. But Lyzr was doing some really interesting stuff. For those who aren't really familiar with the AI field, agents are really, really important. The first, looking at the large language models themselves and how they can answer your questions and give you their opinions is great, but the real work being done in the enterprise is by setting up these smart agents which use the technology. And the concept of using all these agents, sharing information among them, and providing the ability to, on your local device, within your local enterprise, be able to mobilize different agents that can share in the concept of information across the enterprise, we thought was very important. So congratulations to Lyzr. Which then brings us to the cup. And somebody had to get the regional cup over here. And so we would note that we took a cognizance of the fact that of all the companies that were pitching, they were at very different stages. Some of the companies were in very early, almost pre-product stage. Many of them were in clinical trials or testing or trying to get to trials. Some of them have not yet been patented. Some of them were non-tech devices. But there was one company that had moved a lot farther down the path with traction and everything else there. And therefore, out of today, there is one clear winner for the grand prize, and that goes to NanoWear. So Venk, if you want to come up and receive the official cup here from the judges, we would be delighted to give it to you. Whatever you want. There you go. So good luck in the finals, representing New York over here.
I'll be rooting for you. Congratulations.
I hope to bring it home for home.
Yes.
And on behalf of all the judges, Josh, thank you very, very much.
Now, thank you all for being here. Can we give one round of applause for our judges here? We promised a panel of celebrity judges, and I think we delivered. These are some of the most, thank you very much, storied and accomplished people in the New York City technology and entrepreneurship community. They've collectively done so much for so many different kinds of companies, and we were super happy that they were available and interested to come and help us judge here this competition here. Venk, you also get a hat that is guaranteed. Ask me about my startup. Guaranteed to get people talking, so hopefully you wear that during a competition. Another big thanks to Civic Hall and the folks here at the New York Tech Alliance for hosting us. A huge thank you to our partners at the NYCEDC, between Daria and Brian. Brian's here. Where's he at? If you're interested in the work that EDC is doing, go talk to my man Brian over there. I've known him gosh, 12 years. The folks at Capgemini, Alex here, and Casey behind the scenes, who, like I said, we couldn't have done it without. Will and his team, the AV team back here, thank you very much for all the work that you're doing. Jean-Claude over here, keeping everything in order. Also to the food and beverage. Basically, everybody who helped out make this stuff. Also the sponsors here, Alice and Red Rob. Very good to see you. Look forward to seeing you again in some future events. And then finally, a thank you to the founders. Has anyone pitched before? Who has not ever pitched before? Yeah, who thinks it's easy to stand up here and talk about what you're doing and bear your life's work for people to literally judge and evaluate? It's not easy at all. So many thanks to all the folks who applied, who submitted. There were 89 submissions that we got here in the New York City area, only through over the course of 2 or 3 weeks. Selecting them for the folks that had to do that, it was extremely difficult. But for the folks who are here in the room, the 10 of you, congratulations. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you very much for all the work that you're doing. I think almost all of them they're all solving real problems in their respective industries. And so thank you for the work that you're doing. Please keep it up. And if there's any way that us at Startup Grind, the folks at the Applied Innovation Exchange can help, we definitely want to know. And I think I also speak for the judges here when I say if there's anything that they can do to help you on your journey, please don't hesitate to reach out. I just filled your inboxes. I'm sorry. A couple of things. Everyone here who presented does get that month of free co-working here at Civic Hall. I was talking to a few of them who are working at homes and coffee shops and patios, so now you have a place to come. And if you are looking for co-working solutions after that, then Civic Hall will be happy to help you out. There is the work that Alex is doing with the Applied Innovation Exchange. He mentioned that it's a marketplace connecting their corporate partners and clients with startups and innovators who are doing great work in the community to do co-creation together. You're automatically entered into that, the exchange's Rolodex there. You also all are guaranteed acceptance into the New York City delegation at the Startup Grind Global Conference that happens in Silicon Valley in April. And so I'll be in touch with more information about that. So your journey with Startup Grind and Capgemini and the New York Tech Alliance is not over. We want to make sure we keep in touch and support you in any way that we can. Am I forgetting anything? That's pretty much it. We have the room until, I don't know, another like 10 or 15 minutes or so. So if you'd like to grab one more drink, then please do. Please continue to network, make those connections. That's how these things are built. Somebody asked me how I got started in the startup community. The answer is going to events like this. So thank you everyone for coming. I hope you had a good time. Thanks a lot.